Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm trying out a new hosting cadence, Brian. It's a very chill, effervescent vibe. I'm here with my co-host, Brian Hooper. How are we doing tonight?
All right, not bad. Is that like based on market research and you're kind of pivoting?
Yeah, I've been trying out new intros, and then I go and look at YouTube data, and I actually have heart monitors strapped up to all of our viewers, and based on kind of the spikes there, I know what people are in the mood for.
That's sharp.
Wow, you guys are coming in hot. I can't even get through an intro, and someone's like, "Can someone show me how to use Crypto Slam in the moment data?" It's like, let us ease into the show, guys. We gotta do a warm up here, do a few laps around the track before we start running 200s.
I just read about ThorChain 2 seconds before this stream started. So
yeah,
these things are getting out of control.
It's all moving too fast. I know. Is that what Kitchen had tagged me in some tweet that sounded very similar to that ThorChain the other day? Did it involve you having to go into a Telegram group?
This is how much I know about it. I don't know. It sounded to me like a sushi swap type of deal, where you keep your coins in there and make like their proprietary token plus interest or something. I don't know.
Have you sushi swapped yet?
No, I'm waiting for that Andy
tutorial?
Peter Overset video to hand walk me through it.
Dude, it's like one of those things where, I feel like I'm making a shit ton of videos, and even then there's like a million things. Like I've been wanting to go back, and Andy's told us like, yeah, we can do the sushi vid. It's just like, there's just not enough time, Brian. Everything's moving so fast.
You know what's to keep in mind. I mean, obviously you don't have enough time, but it would be cool if you did pull it off, because a lot of this is like credibility related, right? So like,
yeah,
like if Andy's like, this is the good one, hey, there's risk. I know this is not financial advice, entertainment purpose only, but like it's a lot better than reading some tweet, in the midst of 1,000 tweets about ThorChain from some guy you never met or saw talk into a mic,
Yeah, we're now getting to that point of like, now it does some of this feel eerily similar to the ICO boom to you? Just not even saying like the fundamentals of the projects, even though we could get into that, but just literally kind of the way people are acting and talking about things.
It definitely does. It does feel more stable. Like if you notice Bitcoin with the stock market going all wonky and gold going all wonky, it's still like kind of holding that, and it usually would just follow suit. So if it decouples, in my opinion, I like that. Like, cause that's like one of the use cases is that if shit goes south and the government prints too much money, you got some Bitcoin, you can survive. So, I mean, I guess that's not totally optimistic, but at least if you have Bitcoin, it's optimistic. The DeFi stuff and the NFT token stuff, though, I think that could bring in some legislation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want it. I definitely don't. Do not
want it, Brian, if there's anyone that's ever graced these YouTube streets that does not want further legislation, I think they know it's you.
It's me, but I could definitely see it happening, right?
Yeah.
They I don't know, like it's finance, right? And the guise of protecting people, somebody's going to get burned here. And then they're going to do the same thing with poker and wheel up this guy up to the Congress. Now my son lost $30,000 on Pepe Homer NFT
twerking gifts.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, and you guys know what Pepe is, right? We need to legislate that. We don't want Trump back in office or some shit like that.
The funny thing about it too is, you hear it with the CryptoPunks, and like, I mean, I buy it, it's the first, NFT, like I get that origin story, but I feel like a lot of things now, everyone's like saying their thing is the first. Like, this is the first music one.
Yeah.
This is the first Pepe twerking gif, like all these things where it's like, how long are we going to be in the origin, narratives? Because everyone's really milking that right now.
Yeah. So what I was just saying with credibility. So you did the Market Mania show the other day. I watched that show, Brett Ritchie and Brian Micon, and like if they say that one's the first one, it's like that one's probably the first one. Micon's been in this shit forever. With Seals with Clubs, the poker. I don't know if any of you guys ever played.
We've referenced that on the show before. Seals with Clubs.
Yeah, back in the day, I played on there a little bit after Black Friday. So like, I mean, he's obviously been paying attention. So, but yeah, it's tough to navigate. Like someone said, my chap, like, you on Pancake Swap? It's like, and the names don't even sound real. And like, why would you choose these names?
I know. And it's like, things move so fast. And if you want to get it on the ground floor, but like part of feeling comfortable getting in the ground floor is like actually learning it, understanding it, being part of the community, and building up those credibility. But there's just no time. Like, I finally read an article about Euler beats the other day, and it seems like really cool, but like, I don't have time to go dive into that Discord community and like be part of it and figure out where, the things are. But it's overwhelming. Have you looked into the Euler beats stuff at all?
No, I haven't. I've only looked into like the stuff me and you've talked about of like the art stuff, because that's what I'm thinking. This might be wrong, but like of the Venn diagram that money's going to be spent here, like I feel like art and sports they're not going to cross over as much as an NFL Top Shot version versus an NBA, and might pull some money from NBA. And like, I think there's only so much money to go around the digital collectibles, right? Like, I mean, it's still collectibles. A lot of people don't have jobs. So like, I haven't gone too far out. Did you see Kings of Leon? They did one too. They're doing one too. An NFT. I like that, music's doing something like that. Like, it's kind of like, why can I not remember the site that with Metallica that started it all? The social music sharing site. Why can't
well, the one I remember, there was Napster, Oink.
Napster. So it's like come full circle, like where they have total control over how they want to release it, and they don't need the the big Hollywood music companies. Yeah.
No, it's true. Yeah. And I think, going back, look, someone was, it wouldn't be a show if I wasn't getting corrected on my pronunciation. I'm sorry for calling Euler beats Euler. Is that
Euler?
I'm almost positive I've heard multiple people say Euler beats, but whatever. The thing that's interesting about that is I was learning about the concept of bonding curves with how they're doing their model there. I think you should. I'll send you the article I read. I think you would actually be pretty interested in it from a math standpoint. But yeah, to your point, I do think it's cool. I think I like the concept of letting your biggest fans be a part of like your art and your content in a very big way. I know like Peter was talking about on the show, that artist that he's been, buying stuff, and he's gotten close with him and he really likes his stuff and feels like he can be a part of that experience. So I think that's cool. I think it's just, what about for the people who really want to engage with it, but, don't have $2 million to buy like the one of one LP for stuff. I think we got to find more use cases for this.
Like the Wu-Tang Clan one. Where I still think that's cool though. Like if you want to release a song to 100,000 people, that's it. And then so they could play it to whoever they want, but they're the only one with that. I don't know exactly how they pull it off. Maybe, since it's on the chain, it can't be distributed at all somehow, only played from a certain source. That they have access to or something. I don't know how they do it, but there's a bunch of cool stuff. Who knows?
I'm sure I'm going to bastardize this because I still don't fully understand it. But like one of the things that was cool about the bonding curve stuff too is it's like someone owns the master LP or whatever, the mint, and then other people can buy copies of that. And then what makes it interesting is whoever owns the master can figure out like other kind of royalty payments or stuff to give, almost like dividends to the people who have the copies of it. And so you're kind of incentivized to one, if you're going to go in on one, like I know Beeple, who's one of the big guys in the community, he has one, and people want to be a part of his because they know he's already going to do giveaways and has a community around it. So there's kind of like this built-in incentive system for like community building and giving back to the people, because then he's getting the master royalties on all of the sub prints. And then if you give back, people want to give in it. So did I just describe a Ponzi scheme? I think I just described a Ponzi scheme.
maybe this whole thing's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
I love the decentralized aspects in the beginning of all this stuff. That's why I got into it, whatever, nine years ago. And so the more the merrier, in my opinion. You could also, I don't think there's anything wrong with like a centralized version like Top Shot. Like maybe you want to have your band or whatever on like its own server, and everything's like people can trade. I don't know how you do this with music, but the same idea with it, because Top Shots, like I don't have any of my Top Shots. We don't have any of our Top Shots. They have them, right? Not your key, not your coin, bro.
Right.
But I'm not completely against, I wouldn't even call that centralization. Like is a little bit different than like government centralization. Like these things are completely different than, it's more like a monarchy, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And Andy was actually tweeting about that last night too, that like every blockchain project doesn't have to be the like platonic ideal of, like cryptocurrency, right? Like this, completely decentralized anarchist, type of thing. Like it's okay. I think of it as a paradox. Like the whole reason NBA and it's on TNT and getting Sports Center segments is because they've made it accessible to people who find crypto inaccessible. And part of that trade-off is the centralization aspect and not necessarily letting you withdraw when you want. Like those things are what comes with allowing this to blow up.
Yeah. And we're definitely at that stage still in smart contracts and all this new stuff where you for like products and services, you still need like someone behind the scenes. Like you can't,
right.
It's hard to just code this stuff out and then just release it to the ether and it's going to be perfect for the rest of eternity. You know what I mean? Like that's a problem with these the poker sites that we're trying to come around with post Black Friday of a decentralized poker site. It's like you kind of still need someone there. You kind of still need someone there to market, and there's ways around it, but it gets really complicated. It might not be worth it just to have, a staff of 10 guys working out, hand in hand with the coding.
Yeah. And I've mentioned it before on a few shows. I used to, I have my crypto. It was on my ledger in my hardware wallet, and I was, my keys, my coins, all that good stuff. And then ran into some firmware issues saying I had one more chance to get into my ledger. I start to get spooked. I start to think if I lose this, all this stuff. Obviously I know I have the keys and I can recreate it. But anyway, it just gave me a level of anxiety where I was like, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice some of the, centralization if it means someone else handles the custodial issues.
Yeah, that's true. And in like if they're an American company anyways, you can sue them. Like, good luck with that. But
right.
Like at least you have that option. So I'm right there with you.
All right, let's talk some Top Shot data because, last we talked, since the whole Top Shot boom, our episodes, I've kind of been like, so Brian, you've been getting into that data? Or are you still just kind of firing from the hip? And up until these past few days, you had just been firing from the hip as I understood it.
Yeah, I'm firing from the hip still, even after.
But you've started to put a little more thought and time into it, it sounds like.
Yeah. Just a little bit. I was going to respond to somebody who responded to one of my tweets. And it's like, yeah, I put like 10 seconds of thought into this guy. Like, but I didn't. I don't think, like, I hope a lot of the DFS guys, our audience, gambling guys coming over to Top Shot, like, I don't, it's not the same thing. Like, you're not going to be able to put together some game theory strategy and get an edge on a field of 40,000 people. You know what I mean? Like, and like what's kind of funny, like you always say, the bits turned into your reality with the botting. Like it seems like there's more and more concern about that, and people thinking that they're botting the marketplace. So like if anything's a buck off or something, they're just arbitraging it or buying it. I don't know if that's true. You know about this stuff more than me, but so like you're not going to be able to like compete with that, like from like guys coming from DFS, like how they're used to playing. Yeah.
Real quick, everyone. This is not Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Chris Conley. This is Chris Conley, club VIP. But we can show him the same enthusiasm that we would.
I love him,
Chris Conley. Everyone's like Conley.
You're gonna feel like, no, we know that's him.
Yeah, no, we know. Level Bevel. I have done the nifty gateway drop. I own 2 Bitcoin Angels. And it's a little more dangerous, speaking of centralization, because you can just pay for it with your credit card. There's a reason I haven't gotten my shit together with a hash mask yet, because I still was dealing with a ETH rigmarole. But yeah, the nifty drops are fun and dangerous. Have you done anything on Nifty Gateway or any other art stuff?
No, not yet. I was asking someone I know who knows like about art here in the city, and because I don't know anything about it. Like, what do you think a rich person would think is cool out of these, and stuff like.
Yeah.
As opposed, but I don't even know if that's a good strategy now, because like, the culture's changing so quickly and stuff that.
Yeah.
Who knows if you can guess any of this stuff.
And one of the reasons I did that one, it was this guy, Trevor Jones. It goes back, I think, I don't know who said it, but someone's like, Bales really likes this artist. And then I was following him on Twitter, and he's like very active and doing some cool things. He actually, one of the things he's doing for the Bitcoin Angel is when Bitcoin hits $77,777, you're entered into a drawing to have a portrait drawn of you or a loved one by him, 1-of-1 NFT included. So he's been doing these fun kind of incentives to hold it. So cross my fingers, I can have a self-portrait done by Trevor Jones.
I was going to say, are you going to do a bit? Like,
of course I'm going to do it.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I'd bring Mans back to have him get drawn there by Trevor. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail us from Top Shot data. I can pull some stuff up here. I mean, the first thing you were looking at, the super nice, super chill, you were looking at kind of the spread on serials featuring 69 and 420.
You figure that's the first thing you got to look into, right? It's on everyone's mind.
So tell people here that don't speak, regression analyses. Tell people what we're looking at here, because I famously have asked you to do a better job of color coding your chart, so I knew how to make it actionable.
Yeah, you're right. So that is a regression analysis. If I was going to do it over again, this is linear, I would do a logistic, but it takes a lot longer, especially when you're dealing with the amount of data that Top Shot has. And I didn't feel like sitting at my computer that long.
Yeah.
So you could dial this in more, but it's close enough, right? Like, who gives a shit? Like the p-value is what like the majority of statisticians consider. Anything under 0.05 is predictive. And so this means that there is the strong correlation, or the variance is explained by this number. So it's either 69 or 420, or everything else is 0. So it's like a 0-1 logistic regression done in a linear regression form, if that makes sense for anybody. And so, yeah, the value, like if you were to want to type this out for some reason, because you're a complete nerd with no time, plenty of time, I should say, would be, 42.14 plus 53.878 times whether it's a 69 or a 420. So, and if it is, you would just add this. So that is the amount of money based on all the data I had, whatever I downloaded, assuming it's right. That guy who gave me the link on Twitter, it adds $53 on average for a 69 and 420. Admittedly, those are higher serial numbers, right?
Right.
It is, yeah, and it is compared to everything else, but it's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 were 0. So
yeah. So it does seem to represent a premium. Were you able to see if 69 or 420? I guess 69 would just be more just because of the 2-digit serial.
Yeah, I don't think you could parse it out enough for the serial. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could, because you could figure out how much that serial's worth. Like, you probably could do 68 and 70 and see the difference.
Yeah.
So like if 68 and 70, there's no p-value and the amount's half, that would probably dial it in even more. But it's like, I mean, come on.
It would be fun to do if you could ever do more sales data on some of this stuff too, because like I know I had my Joel Embiid, it was the 69, and I ended up selling it for 690. Like I had it listed, and I also had looked back through some of my early transactions, and a lot of people, at least back in the olden days of 3 weeks ago, would list the price almost commensurate with the serial. Like I want to say I bought a 256 serial that someone listed for 256. Like there's almost like a human psychology element of wanting to tie your listing price to the serial.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder if in Kahneman Tversky, if that's in one of those. That book's so big. I read it a few times, but I can't remember if that is one of their biases in there.
Well, and I had another one I did that with is I had a Tyler Hero series 2, and it was kind of cool. This is, we're talking, shout out numerology bros. It was serial 3333. I listed it for $333. It sat, and then during the bull run, it finally got picked off. Just like literally all threes, and even the play was the 3-pointer. So maybe for some people that ends up being fun.
So one of the bigger things I was going to do, and one of the reasons I didn't do it, is because the data is so big, the data set's so large.
Yeah, that
I'm not doing it in R. And when you're dealing with big data sets, you really want to do it in R because Excel will lag. And so I'm just like, I'm not going to do this. But like, you could try to use all these techniques we were talking about to dial in how much a card should be worth, right? And like we just said for 69, like then we could see the difference between 68 and 70 and actually dial that in. And then like there's going to be a change in we'll go to serials in a second, but like a serial number will be, an exponential change because it goes up dramatically, and like under 10 serial number, 1, 2, 3, even higher. And then, based on time and like over time and ebbs and flows of the price changes, player names, blah, blah, blah. You could do a whole bunch of stuff to kind of get the right value in. And another reason I didn't do it wasn't just because I was lazy and it lags when you're doing it on Excel, is because it's so unpredictable right now. I think the best you can do is a descriptive model and not a predictive one. Like, yeah, I guess it technically would be a predictive model, and you do use all those same techniques that we would use in DFS or gambling, but like it's like so crazy. Is it even worth it? And then how much time are you going to spend? And if you really want to get it accurate, so I don't know. That's where I kind of left that at the other day when I stopped looking at this stuff.
Yeah, no, I get that. This is actually a good point here. I probably agree with this thesis. I think people connecting the price and the serial number are trying to prove that there is some meaning behind the number and why they should pay more. That was probably my thought process in trying to sell that for $690.
Yeah, I mean, and that's okay. Well, that's just the data set size, though. Like, it depends. Maybe we're not there yet, but there's a lot of transactions. Yeah, there's quite a bit of transactions, and the p-value is extremely low. So, yeah, the difference between descriptive and predictive. So right now, we're describing past data, and that is saying that shit matters. It does matter. 69,420 has mattered up to this point.
Yep.
And
add more funds. Our buddy Matt over there saying he can get you some of the numbers, Brian, if you want to continue to get your.
Thanks. Maybe if I keep doing it, it's really not the numbers. It's I got to put it in R and then.
Yeah.
And then remember all that code to like, what was the, LN, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember them, I mean, then I have to Google them. And,
yeah.
Maybe we'll see how this stuff goes. We'll see 2 months from now, people care about Top Shot. I hope they do.
Yeah, seriously. All right. This was another one here. Cool Cats, last month and a half of sales, 3-pointer play category costs on average $111 more. Dunks cost $43 less on average. Blocks and layups had a p-value over 0.05. Now, Do you think that could be a little noisy because it's more like in this one, I assume is it a Tyler Hero 3 in that Cool Cats? Is that what's kind of inflating it?
Yeah, was my cheat code was I'm just gonna do Cool Cats data because it's smaller data set, and then I could play around with this stuff and so yeah, that could be an issue with the Cool Cats, but it was just so much easier.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, and then that would be another in your model. You have to parse out what's set there, what series they're going to be in, and so like if Cool Cats is biased because of whatever you just said, like that has to be reflected in the data. But nevertheless, it's interesting to see that. And I didn't put the blocks and layups on here because their p-value was so high. So I think blocks was just above 0.05. But I might have these backwards, not that it matters. And layups there was just like no p-value there. So like it was meaningless.
Well, and the reason I think it might be noisy, and I'm not saying I'm representative of everyone, but I know when I like my habits of going through the marketplace, I'm never what the play is categorized as is probably like the last thing I notice. Like even today, I bought that Jason Tatum handles moment, the one you and Pat got the cosmic of. I think of that more as a 3-pointer. Like it's like a sick 3-pointer thing, but they call it a handles thing. So even some of the categorizations, I just feel like people, they look for players, they look for series, they look at serial, they watch the play itself. And then it's more of like an Excel thing where when I put them in, I labeled them with the thing. So I just don't know how much that's factoring into stuff.
So, and that's funny because I have the opposite bias. So I always, I'm like, no, dunks. You got to get dunks. Of course, everyone wants dunks. The slam dunk contest. That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
And I did think of the same thing with that Tatum too. I'm like, this is a 3. And it's funny how wrong I was, at least in Cool Cats. We don't know if this is, 100% representative, but I was completely wrong. It's the opposite. Dunks costs you less than the Cool Cats series. But, maybe I'll take a look at these. I think the category errors will probably end up having a high p-value eventually.
Do you know what it'd be fun if there was like this element of, and of course it would be noisy, but it would be this thing where people can vote just on the objective coolness of a moment. You're not talking about serial. You're not like just like that Anthony Edwards dunk the other night. That was insane. Yeah. Like everyone's giving that a 10. That was just a sick dunk. And then you watch the LaMelo Ball assist, the one that's on, his first one, the one on Top Shot. Everyone's giving that like a 2 because it's just like a super lame play. And it'd be fun if there was like this Rotten Tomatoes meter, like next to the thing itself, because that's more what I'm interested in. Like, do basketball fans actually think this is a cool play?
I mean, if you could get that data and match it up, you could do more research on it. Here's another thing I didn't have that I wanted to do was jersey number.
Yeah.
So I did look around for like an easy, quick thing and then I would have just, ported that info over onto the sales data. But I'm almost positive that jersey number matters. Jersey serial number. If it's the same serial as everyone knows what I'm talking about, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The same serial number as the player's jersey and an increase in price. And that would probably be the highest out of all these, I would guess. Maybe not though.
Yeah. The other thing that I've noticed, my thing for when I seem to like moments more than the other, and it's kind of getting at what Slim's saying here. I like getting threes from a guy that's a sharpshooter, but them layups are annoying. I like when the play is like emblematic of that player's style or what they're known for. Like that CP3 base moment, the handles where he megs the guy and go, I'm like, that's CP3. Yeah. And then sometimes there's the moments where it just like doesn't quite add up to like their style of play. Like, and I think the layups are a good example. Like no one identifies a guy as like a layup dude. So I like when
getting like a Steph Curry dunk though.
Yeah, no,
I know. He doesn't dunk if he gets one in there.
A nice emphatic Steph Curry dunk.
You want the 3.
Yeah, of course.
From Steph. I mean, based on your thesis there.
Yeah, it's like when I think of Steph, I think of him, pulling up either like 5 feet behind the 3-point line or making a three, like with a guy right in his face. Yeah. The Kyrie's a layup dude. Yeah. His base moment though has like a handles, some sick handles on it as he drives to the hole. And that feels like a Kyrie move. All right, let's check out some of this other data that you had sent me over. Another one here that I don't believe has made its way to Twitter yet.
No, I didn't feel like it.
This is unique to Lolz. You have to watch Lolz to get the p-values.
So what do you think this says, Peter?
Oh my God. All right. This is like a test. So I know the intercept is all the other numbers. And then it says serial number. I don't know which serial number that means, although it looks like it's the baseline here. Is serial number, is it the average serial number in a set?
No. So it's just every serial number.
Every serial number.
Every serial number in the base set. And value is US dollars. You can see in the top.
Okay.
Model parameters. So this is telling you that every decrease, or the number is getting higher, right, further away from 1, is worth 0.5 cent.
Okay.
In Cool Cats, it's worth 1 cent, so it's double. This is a linear model. Like I said, I wasn't putting a ton of work into this, guys. Sorry, but so it's not linear. The serial number price correlation, right? So linear would be shaped like a straight line from the bottom to the top of the graph. Yeah. What this would really, well, depending on what you're looking at, what this would be was like more like a curve with an upward slope at the end, where the top 10 serial numbers are going to be priced. So you wouldn't use this to model anything out. It's just kind of something interesting to take a look at.
Oh man, everyone's coming in with a hangover from the club last night, and we're talking about p-values in here, and everyone's like, "What? Wait, what's he saying? What's he saying? Which moms do I buy, Ryan? Win packs.
Go watch some of our old shows. None of this will make sense. There's no link between any of our shows.
Yeah, man. People just tuning in for a libertarian rant from you, and they're like, "What are these spreadsheets?" So did you have any takeaways from any of this stuff?
I just thought I thought it was all intuitive. The Cool Cats thing might be a sample size issue. I thought that dunks being negative was interesting. I thought it'd be positive. But I mean, it is kind of surprising how well correlated 69 and 420 were. Yeah. To the price. Even though they are high, you could dial that in a little more, like we talked about earlier. And I would have liked to get the serial number in there. But then eventually you could build all this stuff out and keep going, and then get your price model if you really want to. And then with that, you would be something like you type in the day. This is how I would do it. This is what I was thinking. Is you'd have the date, because the price fluctuation. Like right now we're going up, and hopefully that would continue, so you can get some gauge from that. The player's name, serial number, category, maybe a few other things, and then that would like pop out. Okay, this guy's worth $1,200, and then you go to the marketplace and it's $1,400. You take a pass.
What, like, you're like long term, thinking about just Top Shot data in general, like what would be the data that would be most interesting to you? Like if it wasn't like super cumbersome to get and to crunch the numbers, like what would you want to get your hands on? Similar
to what you were saying earlier, outside Rotten Tomato style, Twitter chatter, metadata, and stuff like that. And to be perfectly honest, like I don't think I could even handle that data without like putting a lot of work into it and researching it and stuff like that. But that would be cool. You might be able to judge stuff. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it'd be worth it, all that work, but who knows?
Well, yeah. And another thing that would be cool is like, what if they showed you real time, like page count or view hits on each page's moment? Like which are the ones that people are actually going to look for?
I said it like the second day. We might have said it on one of our shows. I'm like, that we can get that. We can know what's popping here.
That would be fascinating. And then you could splice that data into smaller ranges of like in the past 3 days, these are the most viewed things, versus like long-term, I'm sure, the LeBrons are going to be the most viewed, over the course of the entire sites. But the kind of trending stuff, what people are searching for, what people are actually watching would be very fascinating data.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Like I said, just some sort of Twitter chatter.
All right, Anthony is greasing my wheels. He has slipped the bouncer $5 of Canadian money to ask, Brian, when they enable selling packs on the marketplace, what do you envision an unopened cosmic pack selling for?
Peter, you'd be able to answer this way better than I would, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, so again, I have not, crunch the numbers on, what even the expected value of that is. I mean, the things we do know is there's never going to be any more cosmic series. We know right now, even base packs on eBay are selling for outrageous premiums. And it makes sense the prices don't make sense, but the demand makes sense is like the unknown that's in there. It could the number one LeBron be in there. So, I mean, like Anthony, just to guess, I mean, you look at the average price of a cosmic right now, I'm just guessing it's probably like 30 to 35,000 on average across all of them, based on, because there's still some like $7,000 and $8,000 cosmics.
There's Marquise Chris still there, and
yeah, and then I don't remember what else is in a cosmic pack. Some of those older packs have like 10 moments in them as well, in addition to the main cosmic. But like literally just guessing, I would expect the EV of that pack to be like 75,000.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. How much of those base sets going for? You'd be like $5,000 or something like that.
I know it's like
I still have like two or three of them.
Time to head to eBay, Brian. Seriously, I know. Actually, maybe I was literally just gonna say, because this is my issue. I get on these shows and it's so damn fun to open a pack.
Yeah.
And that's why I burn through mine. And then we have people come on the club and we see, their collections. Like, how have you shown the restraint to sit on these that long?
I'm doing the same thing. We'll open them on the show, and maybe we'll do some giveaways and stuff too.
Yeah. We can, we'll have some fun. We'll keep, Brian, though, one of these days he's going to go to eBay and he's like, I could do a giveaway where I get 22 more subs and 94 more Twitter followers, or I could get $2,000 on eBay.
Or I just give it away randomly during the show live like last time and get no followers.
I thought we tried to get you something. Did we not do it?
I get followers. And here's another thing I was thinking. I'm like, I could write it off on my taxes. Right? Like, it has to be a business. It's a promotional expense. Everything I do is part of my business, right? Right?
Your LLC?
Yeah. I forgot to email my accountant because they charge me for every fucking email, but I'm assuming I can write it off.
Yeah. Look at this. What the chat? Yeah, this is a good point by Lou. He mentioned, I think it had come out today, that they're extending the mints on some of those series 2. You might want to sell those packs sooner than later before that 25K come out.
So that's the LECC, right? So LE limited edition CC means they're going to keep doing. They can keep
doing them. Yeah.
So can they remove the LE off there? Is that what this means?
I believe once something is LE, that's it. Okay. I think this is for
all
the
the
CC.
Cosmics LE. All the ones after I read that.
Sorry, he's not talking about Cosmic. He's talking about your base packs that you're sitting on.
Oh, okay. Because all the cards I have are all LE.
I
haven't opened the base pack, some of the base packs, so obviously I don't know about those. But
yeah, they're talking about the Series 2 like base stuff that it's going to get bumped up to 30K.
Even if it says LE on it.
I don't know let me see. Where does it say LE?
It says it right in the marketplace. Go to your.
No, but on your pack, I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the players. Like if you have a player that's 15,000 LE, 15,000 in circulation, they're not going to make any more of them. Right?
What's going here? I'm a little confused. Yeah, I know. We're all confused. Don't think they have released any of the new Series 2 base that being extended to 25K. LE aren't changing. The LEs are 15K. They are mixed in with the new 30Ks.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
BRIC
you.
is correct. See, Sean, thank you.
All right, Sean, you just got blocked.
Sorry. I guess you go to my channel.
I've been on a pretty good streak. I think I did boot someone last night from the chat. I gave him a warning, and then he said he was going after someone, and then I gave him a warning. He was like, "All right, I'll chill." And then he said, "Overset's a clown," and I was like, "All right, bye."
Normally we berate them if they get out of line.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
leave.
Martin, I feel you, dude. This is why I'm going on vacation. All our brains are getting melted here, so just bear with me, okay? You'll get a break from me here soon enough. There you go. It says all your packs, BRIC, will contain LEs.
Wow.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about. You had sent me a link, and I still don't know the meaning of you sending me this link.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is the most important link you'll ever visit. No, it's not important. It's just basketball reference.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what we were talking about briefly on our last show. I think it was our last show where I kind of was trying to give examples of players like Trae Young. Like he's not like a super good example.
You were getting roasted in some of the comments.
Everyone was roasting me.
Yeah.
So like the idea here is like, because I'm looking at the more expensive cards. It's like paying 80 grand for a Trae Young. Like I just feel like there's so much risk in that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the overall NFT risk. You know what I mean? The market as a whole and what are we going through here, or the asset bubble we might be currently in, you know, nationwide, generally speaking. But like, and so like 2009, 2010 draft, I think is like some good examples of guys. So like, and a lot of these guys who, you know, watch our shows are younglings, Peter. They don't remember basketball in the mid 2000s. But like, can you imagine two examples I'm looking at here, right here, which look, Johnny Flynn, remember that? Oh my God.
Yeah. He was drafted ahead of Curry, right? Was that one?
Yeah. And look who they drafted in front of him. Ricky Rubio, two point cards back to back, and they didn't even trade him.
I remember this draft.
Yeah, that was classic. Hasheem Thabit, man, this draft, this thing's hilarious.
This is a wild draft.
But okay, let's do Tyreek Evans first. So click on Tyreek. Now imagine, look at his first year there. 26-5, basically. If you scroll down slightly to his rookie year stats.
Yeah.
2009, 2010. So like imagine that rookie year right now. Right? Now that we know Tyreek Evans was actually like kind of more of a role player, good offense, bad defense, his career is over. Imagine, you know, having your $80,000 cosmic Tyreek Evans in 2010, you know, the beginning of 2010 or something. You know, you're like, ooh, I can't sell this. It's Tyreek Evans, dude.
Yeah, well, you're paying the hopium premium, and it is very analogous to me of playing dynasty football, where these young guys you're almost paying like 90% of or like you're paying for them hitting their like 90th percentile ceiling, like at current cost. And like maybe if they smash expectations, there's a little runway for profit, but so much of it is baked in. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at with some of these non-locked and loaded superstar prices right now.
Well, I understand exactly what you're saying, but I don't think we even live in that world because there is no MJ rookie card to base this off of.
Well, you can base it off of the LeBrons.
No, I don't think so. I think that's still too new. And by the way, they're not that much different. So like, okay, LeBron's 250 and Tyreek Evans you're paying 80K for. Good luck, buddy. Like it shouldn't even be anywhere near that close. And there's other guys on there too. Blake Griffin. Right? And in 2010, the next one you go over, there's some real good one. There's a modern one in 2010. DeMarcus Cousins. Right? If you look at DeMarcus Cousins stats, and this is what I was kind of talking about, these like above average offensive players, slightly above average overall players on horrible teams with high usage can put up some monster stats.
What did you guys get your Tatum for?
40.
But you're talking about we're talking about a Victor Oladipo $77,000 cosmic. Is that kind of the type of stuff we're talking about here?
And Victor Oladipo, so okay, I bought that Chris Bosh, right? And so the idea behind that was Chris
Say
Bosh.
The thesis behind the play.
Thesis behind the play. Fine, God damn it. Is everyone has to do this bits. Everyone has to. Everyone has to participate. He can't fuck up. Right? His career's over.
Right.
He's a Hall of Famer. He should have probably been first ballot, but he's not. So I'm assuming he's going to get in here in a couple months. And there's only one of them. It's a cool play, game winner. It's his only moment on there. So he's going to get 2 tags, right? Hall of Famer and rookie. Yeah, it's a little pricey.
It was you had talked yourself into it, and then there was the cold light of day of seeing it as the top buy, and they were like, all right.
I think if it was 40, I wouldn't have bought it, which makes no sense really, because it's not like I'm expecting it to go to 41 and then sell or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyways, you know what I mean? There's no risk. Based on this idea I'm trying to just put out there into the world, where I don't know if you can go to some of these other guys like Halliburton and stuff like that, some of these rookies. I'm not saying they're not good, they're not going to be great.
Right.
Some of them definitely are. They'll be D Wade or something like that. But there is, I think if you ran the numbers, there is 20% chance that these guys are going to fail, and not just because an ACL tear like DeMarcus Cousins. And even if DeMarcus Cousins doesn't tear his ACL, I don't know. He's so good offensively, but
real quick, I do want to make this point because this guy was saying no risk, and Mookie is making the correct point here. The risk is in the buy in the Top Shot platform itself. When you buy Brian's thesis behind the Chris Bosh, or if you buy a LeBron, you're betting on the success of the Top Shot site. When we're talking about a Trae Young or an Oladipo, we're saying there's some fragility there to how history looks back on their career. And Brian's saying transport yourself back to this draft and having a Tyreek Evans cosmic that would probably be going for $75,000 right now. And flash forwarding, 10 years. I mean, now, how do you feel about that moment?
Yeah, and it's going to be hard to put yourself in those shoes, but everyone was all over Tyreek's nuts back then. He was a stud. Everyone wanted him. DeMarcus Cousins too was big. DeMarcus Cousins had what's it called? Attitude issues or whatever they would say. I guess he still does, but but no one was doubting his talent. He was putting up 27 points or something not even that long ago. And now I opened a DeMarcus Cousins on this show and it was $20.
Right.
But a DeMarcus Cousins in his 3rd year or something in this market would have been going for 100 fucking K.
Yeah.
I don't think it wouldn't be. It definitely would. That doesn't mean they're all going to fail. And I did say risk of NFTs and all the asset bubble. So I already said whatever he's talking about. What do you mean no risk? I'm saying there's tons of risk here. Not financial advisors, entertainment purposes only. Sell everything you have and invest in the next thing you see on your Twitter timeline.
So this is a question from Dominic. It's something I've thought about a lot recently. Thoughts on investing in players that are toward the end of their careers, like Rudy Gay and LaMarcus Aldridge, as we've seen with the Vince Carter moment. I'd be very careful throwing around the Vince Carter moment as an analog because it has so many other things going for it. As far as its moment in time with COVID, the final 3-pointer, the assists from Trae Young. I don't know. It seems like that truly is a moment versus, just investing in these guys at the tail end of their career. So I want to separate those. But part of what my new strategy was, after I keep saying, I was spraying and praying early on, was pulling up our friends at Basketball Reference there, pulling in the Hall of Fame probabilities and starting to pick these off. When I look up there and you see guys like Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, I know you were joking that Kyle Lowry might be inflated on his odds, but some of those guys there, a Paul George, these aren't sexy names on the platform, but I'm pretty sure historically their legacy is going to hold up.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. And that's what, it doesn't like CP3 when we went in on it doesn't matter if CP3 retired tomorrow.
No,
it make no difference.
No, because no one's buying CP3 thinking the reason it's the price is probably suppressed to what it more than it should be is because there's no perceived upside. It's not like he's going to do something on the court, whereas Anthony Edwards throws down a thunderous dunk and his price shoots up, 45%, 50%. Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Cool moments. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I could see that. Yeah. There's another thing too, is okay, well, we have a Jokic. So aren't I being a hypocrite? Look, maybe a little bit. I think that is a little risky. Me and Pete got it pretty, significantly early in, I would say, right in the Top Shot boom. And but also I said on bad teams too is a real key. So the Nuggets are pretty good. Who's Giannis? Bucks are good. You know what I mean? So I think there's a way less risk, but there's certainly more than a Chris Bosh or something like that, a Dwayne Wade, a good one, and also like Derrick Rose is another one we've talked about offline. Definitely Dwight Howard, but Derrick Rose, they don't have the bowl. They need a Bulls moment, I think. And, not a Detroit Pistons, Derrick Rose one, more of a throwback one, something like that. There could be some of those layups he had in his beginning of his career. I think he catch some money. And
I think that's what's both fascinating and fun and scary from an investment standpoint of you can make bets on the player level, say the Chris Bosh one, not to spook you, but it's what if they come out with a cooler Chris Bosh moment and now it's not the only one on the set and it's just and now people who want to have a Chris Bosh are no, this new one's cooler, similar, scarcity or whatever. The whole, there we go, centralization of this project, not knowing the roadmap. If the roadmap was defined, every year there's going to be one set of this. We're going to have the all-star set, the one run it back. You could kind of plan for that, but they can do whatever the hell they want.
Right. How about for both of us? Forget just the Bosh one. What if they make a set of 25s?
Yeah.
Just 20 oh, great. Now our cosmics are worthless. Thanks, assholes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a risk, and you're making me panic, and I'm going to the marketplace right now.
Paper hands, Brian.
Someone tweet at Pat that we're selling our Tatum.
He's selling the Tatum. I've got to get out. That's when you know it's a bad buy, when I somehow just am rambling and talk you out of being bullish on it. But honestly, it goes back to, why now my strategy is the things I'm betting on, or I'm trying to bet on, are what I perceive to be constants, which is one, Hall of Fame players whose legacies are more or less cemented and their first moment on the site. They can do whatever they want, but I know that they can't change it being the first moment on the site. And so I feel if I bet on those two things, it's most immune to roadmap vulnerabilities.
That's the same way I feel. I think we've talked about this offline too. And Bosh is going to have, that's his first moment. And he's going to have a Hall of Fame tag on there in a couple months. So and here's another thing. This is what I was thinking about, if doing a bigger model, is my guess as well is moments 1, 2, and 3 are going to be significantly higher.
Yeah.
In the future. So that Bosh 1, I got the 2 is his jersey number as well. That one could be worth quite a bit. I wish his jersey was 2, but maybe then I would have been paying more for it. But yeah. I think you might get not screwed, but and I'm just guessing here, but I don't know, let's say you get I want 1,500. You get 1,500 instead of 7,500. That the difference is going to end up being a few bucks, where the difference between, a 50 and a 2 is 300,000 or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Just this exponential gain at the end, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. it's going to be interesting. I think it's definitely that's why I personally haven't been, even though I've been proven wrong by the current market, not investing as much in the Series 2 stuff, just because I think it's going to be more vulnerable to the future stuff. But even I get it. Like a 30K is going to look like nothing when there's 100K, series. And, Chris is asking this question, Series 1 MGLE versus Series 2 MGLE. I mean, to me, like, I know the Series 2 are going to be cheaper, but to me, I just always want the Series 1. Like if I'm having to choose in a vacuum.
I just think, that's common sense, right? That's how everything else, the collectible works.
Yeah. So I think when in doubt, go for Series 1. It's definitely getting more pricey. I do still think there are some good values there if you are trying to get some of these kind of Hall of Fame players that are a little less sexy right now because everyone's chasing the rookies. And I also think the one thing that makes Top Shot fun, and the thing I keep telling myself, is keep your eyes on the prize. And I say this as someone who's been spraying on the Cool Cats Challenge because it's fun, but there's going to be lots of shiny things. You have the gift series, the Cool Cats. Now we have the Rising Stars, like all these things. And I keep asking myself, what if I just used that and bought another Anthony Davis Series 1 base moment? I'm like, I probably should just do that if my long-term goal is just having an asset that's going to hold its value. Yeah.
What do you think? So they got the UFC tag as one of their.
Yeah.
Have they said they're doing the UFC Top Shot yet?
Yeah, it's they even I think already have a few kind of like splash play graphics and stuff for it.
Okay, and so you got to think of, like, if this is your bankroll. I mean, I'm going to be aping into those. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to. We have to get Kelly on or something and be like, okay, who's good?
Yeah. Well, you know me, like, I'm going to want one of my, Sugar Sean O'Malley knockouts. Oh, yeah, I got to get one of those.
I got to get some of the guys who won me GPPs.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's what I've been having fun with. Like, we had Damien Lees on the show last week, and I bought his base moment. CJ McCollum, quote retweets a club Top Shot thing. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy your base moment. Like, it's just, I do enjoy the collectible side. And you've been doing that for DFS. Didn't you buy a moment of someone who was in your winning GPP team?
Yeah. McCollum, was it last week or whatever?
Oh, was it CJ?
No. Who was it? Was it Jordan McLaughlin or Jordan?
It was random. Yeah, it was a random dude.
Timber Puffs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's not that. It's not cheap.
No. And it's funny how quickly I did that, where it's like, Damien Lees, I could have bought his jersey, a really nice jersey, for probably $150. And I was like, oh, I'll spend $800 on like a top 100 Damien Lees cereal. I'm like, wow, this became a very expensive souvenir. But again, my whole mind is warped by both Top Shot time and Dapper fun money, that I was like, I need this collectible right now.
That's how Pat had a follow up here. Like, I think so. Like, obviously I'm just guessing, but like, I really think it's going to be like, so like a cosmic, is what, how many 45, right? In the set. I think eventually, like, I don't know,
49. Yeah.
Let's say the world the civilization doesn't fall apart and we make it 20 years on it. I think it's going to be like really flat and then shoot straight up. So like, how quickly can it shoot up from, like, I don't think it's going to be like 10K increments down to 45.
Right.
I don't see that happening. So like, whatever, for one at 500K, 400K, 300K, 100K, 50K, 48K, you know what I mean?
And it's just, there's not enough liquidity to even have that data not be that noisy. You'd almost need, like, I know this is an oxymoron, but it's like you'd need 10 number ones, 10 number twos, 10 number threes, like something to get more like data points, because there are only ever going to be so few on the market.
Yeah, I think there's enough right now. I just don't know if the trend is there yet. So like, I would just do it individually.
Yeah.
So I would just do LeBron's, Tatum's.
Okay. Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Let's see all the slopes and then see if that all lines up. There's a bunch of different ways you could do it, but I'm positive it's exponential already.
Yeah.
I just don't know if people are gonna really, do exactly what I'm saying in the future, where it's because, like, Peter, this is what we said with Jokic. The thesis of our play so long ago was remember he had like a 35 and a 42 was for sale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's pay an extra $5K and get the whatever 32. And you're like, no, there's no difference. Like, who cares? No one's gonna care if it's a 42 or a 35. And I'm like,
right,
fine. And then like 10 minutes after I bought it, I'm like, I should have bought the 35. Should have bought the 35. But I think you're right. I'm coming more along. Like, obviously, it's gonna be worth more.
Yeah,
you would think. And so far, like I show, the data does show that there is a change, a linear change.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it's an easy thought experiment. It's like if you post both of them at the exact same price, someone's going to take the 35 instead of the 42. The question is where is the tipping point for a buyer where the gap is big enough? For us, we decided that a $5,000 gap was big enough. The savings were worth it.
Yeah. And also, like with the Cosmic, I don't think it's going to be that dramatic because there's only 45 of them.
Yeah.
Where like the Bosch, there's 275 of them.
Yeah.
So I thought like, okay, like the 200 or something, like there's going to be a dramatic difference between a 2 and a 270, like in my opinion,
yeah,
a year from now.
For sure. All right, guys. Brian, are you going to do a solo show next week without me?
What I was thinking of doing is a DFS strategy, but I'd probably just record it and then throw it up at 7.
Yeah, you should give the people, we got to keep our streak. And do you know what also I kind of realized is a bit of a bummer? I believe next week would be our 1-year anniversary show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we have to delay celebrating it to 2 weeks from today. Cause we got to have, so we should plan on like booking some guests and having
no, that's a good idea.
Yeah. That, because we're coming up that night, our anniversary was, I believe it's the Vince Carter 3-point shot moment. It's the Rudy Gobert night, that March 11th.
I was going to say, you're such an influencer now that maybe you could get Rudy Gobert here on the show live, touching his mic for us. And
there you go. The people want, that would honestly be hilarious. I would love to have just you two going for an hour.
Who's going to host that? Me? I'm going to host it.
No, it's not even that. You guys it's like you're having a conversation and the cameras just happen to be rolling. No, Lou, I'm talking about 1-year anniversary of when we started. I think we did end up, as Brian reminds me, famously missing an episode. And I also believe one of our episode titles, we might not have numbered every single one of them, but just trust me. I can tell you the exact date we started.
That would have been my fault.
Pete, are you streaming on Twitch too? No, I don't do any Twitch. That's Chris Conley's territory. I don't know. I don't think there's much appeal for me on Twitch that YouTube doesn't have. All right, Brian, any other final plugs here as we bid adieu? I think now that you've told people they're going to get content next Wednesday, now you have to do it.
Yeah, I've been really slacking off on that stuff anyways. I'll do something. I have something in mind. And please download our pod, which is available everywhere, and I put it up there right after the show. So if you can't catch us here, you can always listen in the car or whatever.
Yep. All right, guys. Sorry, I see all your questions. Kings of Leon NFT, Chris Conley, crypto art. Yes, we will. We'll talk about those on other shows. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Good luck hunting down all those serial 69 and 420 top shots for Brian Hooper. I'm Peter Overset. We'll see you in 2 weeks, but catch Brian doing something special on his channel next week. Peace out.